Okay, well, it looks like it's 6:30. I'll give folks another minute or so to get on. I don't know, let me see if I could pull up our attendees. See where we stand for that. All right, so we got about 41 folks who've joined us already. And is Councilman Catchback? Looks like he fell off again. And I know that Wayne McGinnis had asked for the link, so I'm hoping he was able to get on. I emailed with him a little bit earlier, about 5:30 or so. All right, so I'll get started here in a second. Jesse, you may want to watch for maybe a message from planning board member Wayne McGinnis. I don't see him on yet. I know that he was trying to get on earlier. And I'm not sure what happened to the councilman.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out.
Okay. I don't know. Okay. They may have to be promoted if they come in as a attendee. All right, we'll go ahead and get started.
Why this is so dark all the time.
All right, make sure you're muted if you're a panelist. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Amy Mante, Deputy Director for the Baltimore County Department of Planning and also the Master Plan Coordinator. This is the second of 3 Master Plan kickoff meetings this week. The meeting tonight will be focused on County Council Districts 2 and 3. Tomorrow night's meeting will be focused on County Council Districts 5, 6, and 7. Our first meeting last night was focused on Districts 1 and 4. The agenda for tonight, we'll start with an introduction of attendees and then go through a presentation on the themes, goals, and the master plan process. I'll also provide an overview of our engagement strategy. Following that, I'll touch on what we've heard from the community so far, and then we'll ask for some input from those who are attending tonight. I would also like to note that this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on Baltimore County's YouTube channel. If you can't stay for the entire meeting or want to go back and rewatch the meeting later, it will be posted online. Also, the meeting from last night has also been posted online. Please note that due to the anticipated number of attendees at the kickoff meetings, everyone will be kept on mute throughout the presentation. We will ask for comments toward the end of the evening and will provide instructions for doing so through the chat feature for those attending through WebEx and YouTube. Moving forward, we anticipate holding smaller group meetings which will allow attendees the opportunity to speak and participate in discussion. Next, I would like to introduce Steve Lafferty, Director of the Department of Planning, who will provide his thoughts on the master plan and introduce our panelists.
Well, thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. And let me echo Amy's welcome to all of you this evening. On behalf of County Executive John Rashevsky, I have to admit that we're very excited by this process and the fact that you've joined us and are willing to participate in the Master Plan 2030 process. Throughout this process, we're trying to create a foundation for an equitable and sustainable Baltimore County that will benefit all of those of us who live in the county, work in the county, or own business and property in the county. The master plan is an aspirational document, but it also has to be very practical and realistic if we're going to see it implemented over the next decade. It is really about the county's future. That means our future, your future, and our pathway for achieving the successes and outcomes that we all want to achieve. That's why tonight is so important. It gives you an opportunity to lend your voice and lend your thoughts to what the future for Baltimore County should look like. But we can only really be successful by having extensive community engagement. And that, as Amy said, is with our kickoffs last night, tonight, and tomorrow night, gives us at least a firm footing of some of the ideas that we need to pursue more extensively. And since it's our second meeting, I hope you'll encourage your friends, or actually first meeting with those of you in the 2nd and 3rd districts, encourage your friends, family, and colleagues to participate in the coming months, as Amy has already briefly described and will explain a little more in detail. I'm pleased to be part of the effort, and I want to thank Amy Mante for her leadership and hard work in getting us to this point. So I want to introduce a number of people. Let me start with the planning staff. These are individuals who are sort of going outside of their lanes and doing work to make sure that this whole process goes smoothly. We're joined tonight by Emery Huang, Taylor Bensley, Jesse Hillman, Ann Roan, Jen Nugent, Bill Skabinski, Megan Benjamin, Joe Wiley, and David Birkenthal. And I'll say that this is David Birkenthal's 2nd day on the job. So welcome, David, and I know all of you will get a chance to work with him. Now I'd like to introduce and give 2 of our county council members who are with us tonight a moment to speak. And we'll start with Councilman Patoka. Mr. Councilman, if you want to share a couple words, we welcome you.
Sure. Thank you, Director Lafferty, and thanks everyone for joining us tonight. I think everybody who's been to a council meeting knows that the planning department is certainly my favorite agency because I came up through the planning department. To Mr. Birkenthal, it seems like my 2nd day on the job in the planning department was just yesterday, but many years have gone by. And I'm also very pleased to see Ann Roan, who's an outstanding planner, return to the planning department. But these are exciting times as we begin Master Plan 2030. It's hard to believe, but it's really important that we do this in a way that's thoughtful, in a way that looks forward towards the next 10 years. We'll be receiving census data. I think we've received some preliminary data, and I guess the planning department will give us an update on that, but certainly very excited about this time. Also want to just give a shout out to my one planning board appointee, Mark Heckman, for doing an outstanding job, and Chair Hafford also. So I'm just really excited about this time because this sets the framework for everything for how we'll proceed into the future. We need to have a keen eye on sustainability more so than we have in the past. That's why, Steve, I think it's great for you to be at the helm here, given your background in sustainability and the professionals that you're working with. So I'm just really excited as we move forward with an eye towards the next 10 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. We're also joined tonight by Councilman Wade Katz. Wade, Councilman, excuse me, if you care to say a few words?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. Steve, it's a real honor to serve on this commission, study group, whatever it is, with you. Steve and I were in the state legislature together, and it was, we got along well, we worked well together. And so I'm really looking forward to this. This activity is probably one of the most important activities to me because I've been in elected office for 47 years and know my district quite well. And I have a definite idea of what my constituents want and what is going to be best for the people of Baltimore County and the 3rd district. I really look forward to hearing from everyone, but just very quickly, my district has the largest amount of resource conservation, and we must do everything we can to keep our reservoirs and our water clean because I think it's what 2/3 of 1.6 million people, something like that, drink water out of the reservoirs in northern Baltimore County. We have some of the most fertile soil in the United States and prime and productive soil, and we've got to do everything we can to maintain that. We're unique in that we have a large suburban area which my goal has always been to preserve our way of life there. And I say we're unique because right next to Lutherville, Timon, is Valley, which we have the light rail that goes to Hutt Valley. And I'm interested in transit-oriented development. So I think that the future looks exciting, and I look forward to hearing from everyone, ideas, suggestions, etc. So Steve, again, thank you very much. I must apologize. When I got online the first time, I thought people were talking to me, and I was totally confused as to what was going on, but now I understand they were talking among themselves, and I just happened to jump in. So anyhow, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Councilman. We're very glad you could join us this evening. We're also joined tonight by planning board members who represent districts 2 and 3. That's Mark Heckman, Steve Heinel, and Wayne McGinnis, as well as the chair of the planning board, Nancy Hafford. Lastly, I want to, before I turn this over to Amy, I also want to thank representatives from other agencies within the county who have been able to join us tonight, because clearly they have a vested interest in helping to design and think about what we should be doing in the future. From the Office of Community Engagement, we have Michelle Bernstein and Carmen Christiana. From the Department of Environmental Protection and Sustainability, Aaron Watts. The Office of Sustainability is represented by Seth Blumen and Megan Bennett. Property Management, the Property Management Manager, Deb Schindel. Economic and Workforce Development has Sarah Trenery on their behalf. Radu Zamfarachi from Department of Public Works. And from Health and Human Services, we have Terry Hickey. And I want to thank all of them because I know they'll be contributing along the way. Once again, we really appreciate your joining us this evening. Now I'll turn it back over to Amy. Amy?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next slide. So while we can't see all of the attendees here tonight, we would like to get a sense of who is joining us. There's a short poll that will appear in the chat to the right side of your screen. We'll take 2 minutes to give everyone a chance to let us know which Baltimore County Council district they reside in. This information will help us understand both who is here, but more importantly, who isn't here, and how we may need to further expand our outreach. If you're watching via YouTube, you can just put County Council 2 or County Council 3 in the chat. We'll still collect that information. So we have a few minutes here, but if you could go through, District 2 is Councilman Patokas, and District 3 is Councilman Catch. And if you're unsure, you can just select option C. And as I mentioned, this just gives us an opportunity to understand, where we might need to increase our outreach and engagement. All right. Like we've got about 30 seconds left. All right, so it looks like we have About 15 folks here from District 3, 19 from District 2, and then we have some other folks who didn't answer. And we'll get the information from the folks attending on YouTube, and we'll have that posted tomorrow. So with that, I'd like to thank everybody for participating in our poll. We're trying to try out some new features as we go along, and we'll just go ahead and get started. We're going to open the presentation tonight with a short video that highlights why your input is so important to the process. As the video touched on, Master Plan 2030 will have 3 overarching themes, which will be woven like threads throughout every element of the master plan. The first of these is equity. Looking forward, the master plan will provide the framework to ensure that we live up to our future potential, making Baltimore County the best it can be, starting by making sure that we're being inclusive in our decision-making, ensuring equitable distribution of our resources, and creating opportunity for all. The second thread is sustainability, ensuring the long-term sustainability of our infrastructure, as well as safeguarding our county's ecology and climate. And the third thread is vibrant communities, ensuring that all residents have access to high-quality, affordable, and accessible housing, along with access to cultural and recreational opportunities and safe communities while promoting responsible economic development. With these 3 principles in mind, we'll use data and community input to develop policies and define actions in the plan. We also plan to incorporate best practices, following the American Planning Association's principles for sustainable places. The master plan is an opportunity for a creative range of possibilities for updating out-of-date policies and actions too. We want to make sure that we include clear implementation guidelines related to the policies in the plan. As with all previous master plan, this plan will also cover a wide range of topics or elements. All of these elements are tied to the physical development of the county through land use. The plan also looks at ways to enhance regional coordination, incorporate adopted community plans, and as I mentioned earlier, outline implementation for policies and actions in the master plan. There are other county plans that influence or are referenced in the master plan. Some of these are specific agency plans like the Bike and Pedestrian Plan, the Hazard Mitigation Plan, and the Age-Friendly Baltimore County Plan, just for an example. The Baltimore County Strategic Plan, which provides a framework to guide county operations, has also been included, and many of the goals of the strategic plan are similar to the themes we mentioned at the start of this presentation. One of the most important roles that the master plan plays is in its connection to the implementation of the county's capital improvement program. The CIP is a 6-year plan for implementing public projects and infrastructure improvements. The Planning Board, which is managed by the Department of Planning, reviews the capital improvement program and forwards its recommendation to the county's Office of Budget and Finance. This is one of the reasons we felt it was very important to include Planning Board members in the process to develop the master plan. Our efforts to streamline and modernize Master Plan 2030 are focused in 2 areas. First, to develop this plan as a living document, a document that will be available online and therefore easily searchable. We also have the ability to include performance measures that can be monitored and updated over the next 10 years. We also want to simplify where we can land use designations and related strategy. For Master Plan 2030, the county has also retained a consultant to explore and analyze commercial trends. The consultant will analyze retail, office, service, and manufacturing trends nationally and their impact on Baltimore County, establish economic buying power for Baltimore County in various submarkets, determine whether the economic buying power of Baltimore County is being spent inside or outside of our county, and how that buying power translates into short-term and long-term demands for land needed to accommodate retaining and attracting economic growth and viability for the county. The consultant will provide a final report in an online interactive platform later this summer, which will be available on the Master Plan website. The timeline for the Master Plan is also available on our website and is updated periodically. For the foreseeable future, we anticipate continuing our engagement virtually, and sometimes the timeline may need to be adjusted to allow for additional engagement opportunities. Through the summer and the fall this year, we'll be focused on getting input from the community. In the winter and spring of 2022, we plan to be in the phase of developing the draft and then the final plan. As we move through outreach and engagement in the coming months, we are planning opportunities for both general sharing of information, which is where we are right now, to more focused engagement. This first phase is really about getting information both to you and from you by getting big ideas and vision for the county in the next 10 years. In the coming months, we'll move to smaller focused meetings by topic or stakeholder groups to start to prioritize goals. Then, even if we're still operating virtually, we'll hold workshops to help us refine goals and develop draft policies with your input. We've established master plan teams for each district to help manage our engagement outreach efforts through this process. The county is a large place, and we want to make sure that we're reaching everyone. We'll be working closely with our partners in the Office of Community Engagement and also the Planning Board members. If you haven't already, please be sure to go to the Master Plan website and click the Join button. This allows you to get email updates about the process and notifications about upcoming meetings and events. As you explore the website, you'll find details about the process, as well as background data and information that we'll post along the way. There's a calendar at the bottom of the page that will provide information and links to upcoming meetings. From time to time, we will also post surveys. Currently, there are 2 surveys that are live on the site. One is a survey asking questions related to your connection to the county. This survey will help us understand who we're reaching with our outreach efforts, as well as where we may need to reach out more. There's also what we call a vision and value survey that is posted through May 28th. This survey is 4 questions asking for ideas about moving the county forward over the next 10 years. As of this morning, we've had 384 people join the website, and 183 people have participated in the Value and Vision survey. In a few minutes, we'll talk about what we've heard so far from that survey, But first, I would like to allow the lead planners for County Council District 2 and County Council District 3 of the master plan teams to introduce themselves and talk about what we've been reviewing to prepare for Master Plan 2030.
Yes, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us this sunny Tuesday evening. My name is Bill Skavinsky. I am a planner in 2nd District, and I will be the master plan team lead for the master plan update process. Just want to say that I am excited for this challenging and important process moving forward. And in partnership, I would like to give a big thanks to Michelle Bernstein from the Office of Community Engagement, who has been a tremendous partner in just about all things 2nd District. Also like to give a big thank you to Planning Board members Mark Heckman and Steve Heinel. So in preparation for getting back out and starting to gather input and updating the master plan, we started looking at some of the previously adopted plans throughout the various districts. So just want to give a quick rundown of the adopted community plans in the 2nd District. First being the Green Spring East Pikesville Community Action Plan, which was adopted in the year 2000. It was then updated and adopted in 2010. In addition, with 2nd District, this plan also shares some areas in the 4th District. That's the Owings Mills Park and Open Space Concept Plan. In Pikesville, there's the Pikesville Revitalization Plan from 1990, as well as the Pikesville Revitalization Plan update adopted in 2003. Some other community plans include the Ralston Community Plan, the Ruxton Riderwood Lake Roland Area Plan adopted in 2010, and the Sudbrook Park Community Plan. Along with those community plans, parts of Pikesville and other areas of 2nd District and 4th District are a part of the state designated Northwest Gateway Sustainable Community Plan. So there are other types of incentives of being a part of that. And that said, I will turn it over to Megan. Thank you.
Thanks, Phil. And I'd like to welcome everyone again joining tonight, especially everyone joining from District 3. I'm Megan Benjamin. I am the lead, taking the lead in this master plan process in District 3. I would like to introduce our other team members, which include Joe Wiley, who may be familiar if you were involved in any of the District 3 issues last year during the CZMP process. We also have David Birkenthal joining our team as a planner covering a portion of the District 3 area. We are pleased to have Carmen Christiana joining us from the Office of Community Engagement and the voice and experience of our planning board member, Mr. Wayne McGinnis. We are very excited to kick off this process, and we very much look forward to connecting with you in whatever form that takes as we move forward. We really want to hear from you. We want to hear your thoughts and ideas of what the future of Baltimore County could and should look like. And as Bill mentioned, one of the things we've been doing in preparation for this Master Plan 2030 process is looking back at not only the Master Plan 2020, but also some of the adopted community plans in the District 3 area to see what themes have emerged in countywide. So on the screen, you can see some of the plans that we have been looking at, including a community conservation plan for the Lutherville, the Hanover Pike community study, the Hereford community plan, the Hunt Valley Timonium master plan, the Jacksonville community plan, the Greater Kingsville area community plan, and the West Timonium Heights commercial corridor plan. Planning for the next 10 years requires an understanding of how our county has grown and changed. The chart on the screen shows the annual estimates of residential population from the U.S. Census Bureau. And while Master Plan 2030 is a new plan, we're looking back to Master Plan 2020, which was completed 10 years ago now, to review population trends, acknowledging shifts in the county's diversity and needs of all residents. Looking at growth trends from the last 10 years, as shown on the table, number of new residential units per year based on Baltimore County permit data. This also helps identify ways to leverage growth to build better communities, create jobs and economic opportunity for our residents, and improve the safety and vitality of our county. And as with Master Plan 2020, all previously adopted community plans have been reviewed, identifying the countywide themes that are recurring in those plans, and those plans will be carried forward with the adoption of Master Plan 2030. As we kick off the Master Plan 2030 process, we're asking for you to share with us your big ideas and your vision for Baltimore County in the next 10 years. We started gathering that information 2 weeks ago with the first online survey that Amy mentioned. If you haven't taken it already, it will be posted on our website until May 28th, so please be sure to visit and include your thoughts. As of today, we have already received 183 responses. For the first question, which was, as you look ahead to the next 10 years, what does a more equitable Baltimore County look like to you? A sample of the responses we heard included public transit that provides reliable service to more workplaces, residences, and retail businesses. More and better access to locally sourced and healthy food, diversity in education, more pedestrian-friendly access and connections to community, equitable distribution of food markets and retail stores in our community, as well as mixed income housing and adequate open space in the inner tier suburbs. For the second question, what would a more sustainable Baltimore County look like in the future? We've heard attempt to reuse vacant and dilapidated properties that have already been destroyed environmentally, protect streams, waterways, rivers in the Chesapeake Bay, roadways and infrastructure that fully welcome and encourage walking and bicycling as equals to driving. Safe, clean, affordable mass transit should be a goal in Baltimore County. Promoting ways for community members to interact with nature, focusing on established parks and identifying land preservation priorities. Now I'll turn it back to Bill.
Okay, thanks, Megan. So in continuation, the third question that we asked was, by 2030, how do you envision your community becoming more vibrant? Just some of the examples that we heard were: one, more cultural events and heritage tourism, more recreational facilities and public open space, encouraging cleanup and beautification efforts, improve public infrastructure to support new higher density development inside the Beltway, safer and more walkable streets, reinvestment in existing communities, and supporting zoning that allows for more mixed-use options. And lastly, strategies to reduce greenhouse gases by 2050. The fourth question that we asked was, what other thoughts would you like to share about Baltimore County's future? And again, some of the responses we received were: one, evaluate adjustments to the ERDL to address smart growth. Development regulations and zoning should reflect the master plan's goals. Place limitations or restrictions on new housing development. Encourage grocery stores along commercial corridors that have none. Address deteriorating shopping malls. Address health disparities related to healthy food access. More canopy street trees. And lastly, explore innovative strategies to calm vehicular speed and volume. That's the last of the 4 questions that we asked online and received quite a bit of feedback on. So next, we'd like to have a little more interactive feedback exercise with everybody that's joined us. So just a quick instructions on how to do so. For folks in the WebEx application, you'll see in the lower right corner a button that will open up a chat box if you don't already have that open. It should default the send to everyone, so you want to make sure that where it says to, that drop down is selected to everyone. Otherwise, we won't see it. And in the enter chat message here, if your name is not registered, if you call it, you can go ahead and put your first name, your last name, followed by your comment. At that point, staff will read your comments and we will type those into the presentation. If you're joining us via YouTube, do something similar in the chat box feature on the YouTube webpage. If you could type your first and last name, your comment, and staff monitoring the YouTube page will submit that and will include. So the first question we would like to ask is, as you look ahead to the next 2 years, what could be improved or changed to make Baltimore County even better? So if everybody could go ahead and type your comments in the chat box, we will go ahead and post that for everyone to see.
Thank you, Bill. I'll start to read the comments. We will not be able to read all the comments tonight. Emery's going to have to type these on a slide, and we only have so much room. But any comments that we do get, again, both here and on WebEx and on YouTube, will be recorded, and we'll provide a report online tomorrow of all comments. So, but just to kind of go through and look at what we're hearing tonight. One of the first comments we got was better schools. Incentives for solar power. Open space requirements for new development. Oh man, there's a bunch of these. Increased green space. More sidewalks. Revitalization plans for specific areas. Solar on all public building roofs. Broader types of businesses throughout the county. Last mile transit options. Transit. There you go. Streetscape for major roads. Small businesses, maker spaces, arts and culture spaces. You can put that all in one if you want to. Update existing community plans and new plans. flood mitigation,
And can you repeat it?
oh, sorry, flood mitigation, MITIGATION. You're good. We'll get it fixed tomorrow. Better mobility services, no more gas stations, limit traffic in residential areas. All right, we've got a bunch of good ones. I think Emery's running out of slide space here. I'll read two more and then we'll move on to the next question, but you know, you can continue to put your comments here. We will capture them. They won't be lost. There was a good comment, intergenerational community centers. And more electric vehicle charging stations. So you want to move, let's move to the second. We just have two questions tonight, so we'll move to the second question.
Okay, and the second and last question for this evening, for everybody to think about and provide a response to is, what other thoughts would you like to share about Baltimore County's future?
I see more land reserved for parks. See, schools are the future. Make sure that the master plan is not put on a shelf and ignored. Refine development approval process. Save historic areas. Protection of rural land for farming. Equal services to all citizens. Reduce landfill waste. Attracting young families. Climate-friendly agriculture. I saw this one scroll by a little bit earlier, and this is another comment that's similar, to decentralize county business. work with Baltimore City in a regional approach to problems. Master plan should be implemented and reinforced. Better connection between the schools and the county. Maintain Zoom-like meetings for participation. Protect the aquifers. So I think we've gotten a lot of input already tonight. You can continue to put in any thoughts that you have, as long as the chat stays live here for the next few minutes. I know that we have a good number of participants here on the WebEx side of things. I'm not sure how many folks we have watching over on YouTube, but I know that I'm pleased with the turnout tonight. Even though, like I said, we can't see you, I at least know there's 87 people out there watching. So you want to go to the next slide. So as we wrap up tonight, like I said, any input that we've received is recorded. We'll post on the website tomorrow a copy of this presentation.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
May I ask the question?
Yes.
Are you talking to me? It's Wade Catch.
Yes, go ahead. You had a question?
Go ahead, Councilman.
Yeah, it was. I really scratched up the list of concerns that people have and goals that they have for Baltimore County. I'm curious, would you be able to go through those answers and treat them to either the second district, the third district, each district, what is the number one, number two concern? I find that very helpful. I'm sure Izzy would as well.
Well, like I said, we'll have a report on all the input posted online. I think that that's, sort of the task of moving forward with the community planners and the district teams to go back out to the communities, talk to them about these ideas and these issues. And I think, what is the priority will start to be very obvious. I don't know that we have a way of sorting that tonight based on the information we have from the attendees.
Councilman, you could see at the outset that not everybody identified the district they are in, and I don't think we can identify each individual by the district where he or she lives. So it's going to be hard based on the responses that we have, though we will maintain a list certainly of all these different items. And as Amy said, we'll be sort of parsing through those and more than happy to share them with you if you're interested.
And I'm sure if you, let's say, got 300 responses, you'll know which ones are mentioned the most. If we'd like to see a community center for all ages, and 50 people said that, and that's the number one interest that people have, we will know that.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
So like I said, if you go to the master plan website, which is baltimorecounty.md.gov/masterplan 2030, We'll be posting a copy of this presentation. We will have a link to the recorded meeting if you want to go back and watch any of it. We'll also produce just a PDF report of all the comments we've received in the chat here on WebEx as well as in YouTube. If you have questions, you can always email the master plan email account, which is masterplan@baltimorecounty.md.gov. And as we get questions there, we answer them or we send them on to the district team lead if that's what's required. But we're happy to get back to anyone who has questions. And I would just like to thank our staff who are working behind the scenes tonight. Emery has been running the presentation and also had to type very quickly as I read things on slides. And Taylor Bensley's over managing the YouTube side of things. And Jesse Hillman has been in the background as well, helping me manage the chat and helping folks get into the meeting when the meeting started. So with that, that's all that I have. Steve, I didn't know if you have anything you want to add as we end here.
Yes, if I may, Amy, once again, thank you to everybody. The turnout tonight was terrific. Seeing so many great comments as well, I think reflected the range of ideas and thoughtfulness of so many people. That really is really encouraging. And notably to me, the three themes of health and well-being of communities, equity, and sustainability really resonated with so many of the comments that were made tonight, as well as the fact that recognition that the master plan is an important document. So I echo Councilman Catch's comments about the terrific comments and want to thank everybody again for taking their time and sharing their thoughts, and please stay engaged as we go forward. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for attending.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. People aren't going to leave.
Emery, you make sure you capture the chat